By now, if you are not living under a rock, you have definitely heard of or heard and or seen the Super Bowl halftime show that occurred in this last Super Bowl. I forget which Super Bowl it was though. And as you know, Kendrick Lamar, I all the way said his name wrong. He performed at the Super Bowl halftime show. He was the one who was going to run it. Now, at first, I was actually confused about this because I was like, was it Kendrick Lamar already there? But I figured out he was just kind of like more of a feature on the halftime show some years ago. I forget what Super Bowl that was, but he was there. But this is the only time where he's actually run it. So because he ran the Super Bowl halftime show, there's a lot now of controversy and arguments between parties, political, social, and whatnot, spiritual even, of how it went down and what it was like. So I thought it would be a good topic for my first video essay that I wanted to do, to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show and my thoughts. A few disclaimers before we get started. Know that I am a decently solid Christian Protestant, so wherever I come from, I'm going to try to come from a standpoint of what our Savior Jesus Christ and the Bible says. So that's where I'm going to come from spiritually. So I will be mentioning things, I will be mentioning scripture and whatnot because that's where I come from. That's how I am. Another disclaimer, apologies, my microphone quality may not be that great. I need to get myself a new microphone because the microphone that I use for these types of videos is different and definitely a much cheaper microphone than the microphone that I use for my music, like my rap music and whatnot. So I need to get a new microphone. So apologies if the microphone quality is not that great. But I think that should be it. Oh, another disclaimer that I do want to put in is that in terms of overall, most modern day, I guess, popular rappers, it's not that I'm not educated in it, but I don't follow them. So, like, I'm not a diehard follower of Kendrick Lamar, nor am I a diehard follower of Drake. I listen to like 3 songs of both, but I love music and I like talking about these things, so I think this will be an interesting video for me to do. I hope y'all enjoy it. I definitely did a poll the other day where I asked y'all if y'all want to see these other ideas I had, and I got a 50-50 of it's up to me, and the other 50% was y'all said y'all wanted me to do it, so I'm doing this now. So I think it's going to be a good idea. I think God's leading me to do this. So with all that being said, let's get into this video. So I don't think that Kendrick Lamar has really made a big deal off of wanting to perform at the halftime show, but he did it and agreed to it, so that's the only thing I can really, go off of. But other than that, Kendrick Lamar, he is definitely a popular rapper for some years. I've heard some of his song. All Right is a banger. I'm just gonna say that right now. Of course, I have my own spiritual opinions about his music and specifically the way he raps it and whatnot. But overall, from his music, I see an effort at least to be a little bit different from your typical African American modern day rapper. And I see that some things that he does say and talk about go off of the usual path of, like I said, your typical modern day popular African American rapper. So I can definitely give credit to that. But he also does other things that I see that clearly, stem and like conform with the world, because that's how things tend to work in these types of situations. So when I heard he was gonna do the halftime show, I already said it in the intro. I was like, hadn't he already done it? But really, not my problem, but really what highlighted it is I felt like the only reason why he's gonna be doing the halftime show is because of Not Like Us and this whole Drake beef. Now I was there. I wasn't following it, but I was aware that the Drake and Kendrick beef was going on. And I have my own opinions about it. I don't like beefs. Personally, once again, I'm coming from a spiritual standpoint. The Bible talks about, not trying to live in peace with each other. The Bible always talks about that, trying to live in peace with each other. And the Bible also talks about not starting useless arguments, like about who's the best rapper. Like it's not that big of a deal. One thing that y'all might not know, but my name, actually, some of y'all probably might know this, that my name on YouTube used to be, my musical name was the 13th Music Master. I don't know if y'all noticed, but later I changed that to the 13th Melody Night. Actually, no, I changed, it used to be the 13th Music Master. I then changed it to the 13th Music Night, but I thought that was kind of lame and average, so I turned it to the 13th Melody Night. But the key thing I'm focusing on is my first change, and I want to tell you why I made that change. Because the Bible says, hang on, I'm going to pause this. I'm not completely professional, and I don't care that much, so I apologize. But I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna look up, and I'm not gonna stop it. I'm gonna put the verse inside of the video so y'all can see it, but I'm also going to read it. So in Matthew chapter 23, verse 12, it says, "For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So I thought about that, and I was like, that's a good point. I'm calling myself a music master when, I'm not. I'm not a master at it, So I decided to change it from the 13th Music Master to the 13th Music Night, and then later to the 13th Melody Night. I say night as in a medieval knight, because a knight, they are at service of the king, whoever the king is. And to me, the king is God, Jesus Christ. So I changed it to that, so in a way it's kind of humbling myself, so I cannot seem, prideful. And, some of the things I've seen in relations to this beef is very prideful. There's literally a song in that Kendrick featured on. It was Like That from Future, where he literally said, "F the big three, it's just big me." Like what? Wait a minute, don't you have a song called Humble? And I have to say, that's one of my big issues with Kendrick, that people see Kendrick as this very spiritual, humble, righteous rapper. But meanwhile, he's saying these other things, not saying he has to be perfect, but he constantly portrays this thing of he has to be the best, He says things that just, I think this don't line up with what people often say. So I know sometimes he has mentioned Jesus, which that's a whole nother conversation that I know that other people have mentioned. The whole thing that he wears, like that jewelry piece that literally represents Jesus's thorn crown, which that's a whole nother thing. But so, I see that within this beef, that was going on between Kendrick and Drake, and it just doesn't sit right with me, And like I said, I'm not I'm not for either one, you know. I see music as a way for people to unite and connect. And I feel even in music, we it's kind of like a hurt people sort of thing where we want to have and gatekeep certain types of music or just certain music overall to many different amounts of people. Like for instance, we say that, oh, this certain type of people can only listen to rap music, and these certain type of people play or listen to classical music and whatnot, or something like that. Like, shoot, even with classical music, you say we're old. Like, people who like, a lot of people nowadays will probably say that people who like classical music, they're old fashioned, and do not call me old. I mean, I am old, but I'm not that old. Not that old. Yes, I do like classical music. Classical music is amazing. But I also like hip-hop. I also genuinely enjoy hip-hop. Like, I don't like using this term, but I will say music is very subjective. And that is just fact. Music is extremely subjective. You know, people are going to like different things. Like, I like the music that I like, but I don't care for country music. Nor do I care for something like, I don't care for K-pop either. But the more, I used to do this a lot when I was younger, I'll be like, oh, that is bad music. It's bad music. You have a horrible taste in music. You know, and I hear people say that. But the more I started doing music and the more I actually started studying things like music theory, the more I don't like saying those types of things, because, especially if you know music theory, I'll be like, no music is bad necessarily. It may not be my taste, it may not be what I prefer, but I don't think it's bad music. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It's like, it's not bad. Like I said, I don't like country. That just doesn't ring to my ear as it would other people. But it may for somebody else, and that's fine. So I always strive for music to be a community thing. And I think I also want to connect that to what the Super Bowl kind of, not supposed to be, but kind of is what it is. The Super Bowl is definitely a place where people can come together, not have to worry about politics, not have to worry about race, not have to worry about where you're from, not have to worry about where your people is, and just enjoy the game. Now, I don't care for football or really sports at all, but where you can enjoy the game. You know, everybody loves football. You know, there are some divisions because some people's like, oh, I'm for the Chiefs, or I'm for the Eagles, or the Falcons, I meant, or was it the Eagles? I forget. But so, you know, there are some divisions, but overall, they love football. And that's the point. They want a good, at the end of the game, they want a good and fair game. That at the end of the day. And the same thing with the Super Bowl halftime show. It increases the unity by doing this halftime show with popular artists that a lot of people like, and they'll normally play songs that a lot of people know and can relate to and enjoy. So you can just get the audience hype, and they can have a good time with having a little concert at the halftime on the Super Bowl. And I feel like one of the problems that was with this halftime show is they separated from that. Is Kendrick Lamar indeed separated from that? Now, I will go into this in a little bit with another segment about how he did it, and also about, you know, the fact that it wasn't just about dissing Drake with the Super Bowl halftime show. But what I'm going to talk about right now is the fact that I feel like he definitely stripped the essence of the unity within the Super Bowl halftime show. So I feel like Kendrick started stripping the essence of the unity of the halftime show Specifically when he the parts of the halftime show that were literally just shots at Drake. I have to say, I could be wrong, but what it looks like is that the only reason why he brought SZA up there with him is the fact that SZA is one of Kendrick's ex-girlfriends. Yeah. If you don't know, now you know, Mr. President. So, I feel like that was just a shot. It could be that part of it was Kendrick Lamar, because I have heard stuff that Kendrick Lamar has said positive things about SZA's music. So maybe it also is because SZA is a good artist. I never listened to SZA. I didn't know who she was until she went up there on that stage. Look. But I really feel like it really extra jab, you know what I'm saying? Because that's Drake's ex-girlfriend. And it's like, I feel like that was straight shot. Definitely, Serena Williams was also up there just because she was also another one of Drake's ex-girlfriends. Only reason why she was up there. I can definitely say that about Serena. That is the only reason why she was up there. And oh my gosh, like when he started doing not like and also another I don't know if it was a shot, but it was when like he was like hinting at he was gonna do Not Like Us. He was like, I'm gonna perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue. And like there's already of course talk that, you know, Drake was trying to sue Kendrick for whatever reason. I forget why he wanted to do that. But so that was a thing. But then definitely, oh my gosh, when he started doing Not Like Us, I'm gonna put a picture of this man's smile. Look at that! First of all, Kendrick, you have a nice smile, but why do you have to use it for evil? Like, look at... He smiled, stared straight at the camera, and said, "Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young, bro." If I'm saying that line wrong, I'm sorry. But it's like, yo! Kendrick. You didn't need to do that, bro. You didn't need to do that. If you're coming in late, it may sound like I'm a Drake lover. I'm not. I really don't care. I got some bones to pick with him too. So, but it's like, yo, Kendrick, chill. Yo, Kendrick, chill, bro. Like, the smile was insane. But once again, straight shot. And what made it even worse was when Serena Williams went up there. People say that she was crip walking. I don't know if she was or not. I don't even know. But I don't even know. It was just... But I have to say, I have a theory that is primarily the reason why SZA and Serena Williams was up there for a diss on Drake. So now we have we have unity, but there is a segregation now within the halftime show where you got people who like Drake and don't think that he's a criminal in that sense. Y'all know what type of criminal I'm talking about. And don't think that he's a criminal or just like his music. And you got people who like Kendrick and do think that Drake's a criminal or whatever and stuff like that. And those were probably the people those were most likely the people definitely screaming A minor when he said that on the Super Bowl halftime show. So now there's strife again. And it's not just strife like, oh, I'm with this team, I'm with that team. Or you may have the people who just like, I just want to see a good game, dog. I don't even care. You know, it's like it's division now, and especially after the halftime show, you already have crazy arguments about this beef, dog. You have crazy arguments about this beef. and like the people who like, I don't think a lot of people say it, but like I would imagine like people who are just like, hey y'all, let's let's chill out, it's music, it's not that deep. They're just like, shut up. It's like, shut up. They don't care, bro. That's one of the things I do realize about this society. We love fighting. Like, World Star, we love strife for some odd reason. I don't know, but that's a whole nother topic. And it's just like, I feel like it caused division. I'm sorry, I have ADHD, so I tend to ramble. But point is, I feel like it caused a lot of division. And I feel like Kendrick wanted it to cause division. I guess not to cause the. I don't even know about that. Let me stop making claims. But it's like, how it looks, it could seem that Kendrick was trying to make a division and whatnot. And and all the people who want it and who love Kendrick, they would be just like, if you didn't like it, if you didn't appreciate Kendrick's performance, you're not like us. That's what they're gonna say. I'm telling you. So now that I talk about that, I do want to talk about the pros of this halftime show. Pro number one, definitely he performed it well. Number two, it was one of the most the most cleanest halftime show I've seen in a while. Clean in terms of the performers and the background dancers, because I know there was a lot of controversy with Rihanna performing last year in the 2024 Super Bowl and but what I really didn't like about that one was that last year? I forget whether that was last year or not, but it was like, what are these background dancers? Are these background dancers borderline twerking, like, on stage? Like what's happening? I mean, today's society, that's accepted, and once again, I will say it again, I'm coming from a spiritual, biblical standpoint. I don't agree with that. I think it's a part of sexual immorality, because that's what the word of God says. That's a part of sexual immorality. So I don't appreciate it. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that. So, and then the year before, I think the year before that, I think the one where Kendrick was also like featuring at the Super Bowl halftime show, there was one female artist that was doing some crazy stuff too. So I was like, okay, that's fun. So, but this year's was the most cleanest I've seen in the last few years. In the last few, mind you, I'm not saying overall, I'm saying in the last few years that I've seen it. So props on that. I think that was really good. The biggest prop I can give to Kendrick was the gosh darn message of that halftime show. It's been a conversation on this platform and on a lot of platforms for a while of the message that he was trying to portray, that it wasn't just a performance. I think I already said it earlier, I really do feel like it was 20% music, 80% message. And whether that's good as bad is depending on your opinion. I think I could be wrong about my percentage, but I think that with the message he was trying to do, props to him and being bold to do it in this society, because a lot of people don't have the guts to do that. And that's definitely one thing that I do try to do. I don't tend to care what other people think. I'm going to say what I know is right and what I know is righteous. And that is what I'm going to do always to the best of my ability. But I want to get into, I'm going to summarize a little bit what exactly that message of this halftime show was. So the best summary I can give for the message of the Super Bowl halftime show is, of course, look at other people. Other people can probably explain it much better than I could ever. So I would say look at other people as well. But the main message I think he was getting at is pretty much the pressure of society, of American society in the Big 25. And, the fact that he wasn't following society. Like, and I think, I can prove this a little bit because there was one point of the halftime show where he was about to perform Not Like Us, where he said, 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. So, I think, he was trying to portray the pressures of society, and the fact that how he portrayed it was the American game. And you constantly had Samuel L. Jackson, who was playing as Uncle Sam, telling him what to do, how to do it, what, depending on what song he was performing. He was like, no, that's not it. He was like, and then at some point where he brought SZA up, he was like, yeah, that's what people want, nice and calm, so don't mess it up. Then he started doing Not Like Us, where that shows, there's strife, there's division, and stuff like that. And then he was like, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence, which is an interesting line. But so that is, there's probably a better summary or a better, more in-depth thing about that breakdown. I did break it down like the day after the Super Bowl because I went and watched it again. So if y'all want me to break it down like completely, a whole thing, I can do that. But one guy you can watch, he's a comedian named Josh Johnson. He was doing a comedy thing, and at one point he did kind of briefly explain like what it was about and what he was trying to say, and he really explained it very well. So I do have to give props to Kendrick for that, because I think that's a very good message that I also try to put into my music and whatnot, and things that I talk about, because that's a big deal nowadays. In the Big 25, that's a big deal, and it's something I see often, and it makes me mad. I'm about to start rambling. So I will give him props for that. But even with that, it's like it caused a lot of division, and I think, and once again, I'm going back to being more spiritual on this thing, because it's like God, Jesus Christ, and the Bible often talks about being at peace with one another. I'm concluding now, but I want to focus on that, and that's probably the moral of this entire thing. Try to be at peace with each other, guys. I gotta get better at it too. Like, I'm nowhere near. I have a lot of issues with that, with forgiveness and whatnot, and keeping at peace. But it's like, it's really interesting how the Bible talks about this. I'm going to read you this in Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. If we are peacemakers, we are sons of God. That's very deep if you think about it. And think about it. If we all strive to be at peace with one another, there will be peace on earth. I could make a whole another 30-minute video talking about how the things that the Bible teaches is the recipe for a utopia. It is. You may not, the person listening to this, watching this right now, may not believe that, but I tell you, it is. And all you have to do is just read it. Another verse says in Colossians 3:15, and let the peace of Christ in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body, and be thankful. Let the peace of Jesus Christ be a part of you, be one with you. And finally, I'll read from Romans 12:18. It says, if possible, so far as it depends on you. And that's why that goes back to what I was saying earlier. it depends on all of us to strive to do this as best as we can. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peacefully with all. And I think that's the most thing, the most important thing I can say to take away from this, conversation that I wanted to have with you all about the Super Bowl halftime show, and the controversies surrounding it, And, I'm not here to talk about whether, the songs were good or what. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about this and the attitudes and the controversies that come with this, what he did. It comes with what he did, what he decided to do. Some people disagree, which it's fine. You're in denial. Okay, that's fine. But I'm trying to be as fair as possible in what I'm saying. So, in conclusion, we should all try to be at peace with each other. Strive for more unity, not more separation. I love music. Y'all love music. A lot of people are. Let's be together. Let's be one, not be multiple. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Not a video essay, I guess, but this video talking about this topic. If y'all want me to do any other things or talk about any other, put it in the comments. I love it when y'all comment because I try to read every single one of them. Often I do. So let me know, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.